Data is king, and that's why in this video I'm going to show you how we use the data to make $21,618 in just a single day with our clients in the high-ticket info product market. And collectively, with all of them, we've made more than $500,000 this year so far, and you can check all of those interviews, all of those testimonials on my Instagram and clients' results, because I know that trust right now is at its lowest. So today I'm going to show you how to track the data and how to use it correctly. And I'm even going to show you some of the spreadsheets that we use with our clients on the daily basis so you can see behind the scenes. So let's talk about inputs first. So this is the spreadsheet that we used recently with one of the cold outbound campaigns. And this is actually the same campaign I covered recently in one of the videos, so you can check it out. It will be above my head right now, and it's the stealing method. So let me show you how it works. So of course we have all the leads right here, right? We have all the engagement stages, so message seen, replied, follow-up, second follow-up, third, call schedule, call outcome, all of that. We have all the demographics, right? So gender, country, race, niche, because all of those things matter. And as you can see right here, we sent almost 400 messages, and out of that, 98 people saw the message, 94 replied. So that means that the first message was actually pretty good, because as you can see, 24% of people replied to the first message right here. And it's actually pretty common because the first message, the whole purpose of it is to just build curiosity and get people to actually reply to it. So it's super normal because in the second message we usually give them much more context, so that's why there is a big drop. And we can easily judge it then, right? Because as you can see with those 386 messages, we already, and this is literally running right now, we had 1.8% of people who already scheduled a call. And right now, as you can see, there are 7 calls booked, and we have 2% more that are interested to scheduling calls. So that basically means that we are having conversations with them right now, and we are really close to sending the calendar link. So we can judge that this campaign actually went really smoothly, because that means if most of those people convert, that will be 14 calls booked with just 400 messages sent out. That's more than 3% book ratio. So this is a good example of how you can track the cold outbound campaigns. And of course, if you want any of those spreadsheets, just literally message me on Instagram and I am happy to send you that like for absolutely free. Right, so let's right now talk about how to track the ads. So all of those spreadsheets right here, right, are for tracking ads. And let me break it down for you. So first of all, of course, we have the ad spend, then the follows, then amount of inbound leads, qualified leads, DMs, DMs to convos, convos to calls. And then we have basically something that the closer will fill out. So we have call schedule, calls taken, calls closed, cash collected, revenue, everything looking smoothly. So where we have all the data in one place, it is basically impossible to be stuck. Because let's stop here for a moment. And if you don't know what is not working in your business, that means that you are not tracking data properly. Because if something goes wrong in this business, like it takes me 15 seconds to see where is the problem. Because for example, if we are spending a lot of money on ads and we are not getting enough followers, then I clearly know that probably something is wrong with ads. Then if we are having low DMs to convos ratio, that means that the first DM, the first message that we send to all of those people just sucks, right? And we need to do something about it. For example, if the convo to call is really bad, that means that something is wrong in appointment setting and we need to tweak it. And by the way, of course, we're gonna talk about what are the KPIs that you should strive for, right? So don't worry about it for now. Then of course, when we see that there is a lot of calls being scheduled, but we are not taking a lot of calls, that means that the show-up rate kind of sucks and we need to do something about right here. And my point is pretty simple. It is like physically and like mentally impossible to be stuck when you are tracking data, because you will clearly see where are the fires that you need to put down. And we can be even more crazier with that. For example, we can literally split it between like appointment setters, dialers, right? So when an offer needs a dialer, then we can literally just do like opt-ins and then the dialer is calling there. We can even separate it to, let me show you that, to 2 closers, right? So you have one closer, the second closer. And that means that we have even more precise data tracking when it comes to that. And those are like on the broad level. So we can see the overview of how the business is doing. But let's look more precisely at the actual ads and how to track them. So of course, here we are talking about the profile visit ads, right? So the most simple one to run in the ads trifecta that we always run with our clients. Of course, it's in the video that will pop up above my head right now, so just check it out. But basically with them, we have this metric link clicks. And if you look at those 3 ad creatives that are pretty fresh, you can already see that with the same ad spend, there's a big difference. 240 link clicks, 265 and 124. So if someone new to ads and to data tracking would look at this, he would just judge that, okay, this ad is performing much worse than the other ones, so let's just deactivate it. And that would be a big mistake. And let me tell you why. Because when I looked at the data, right, what I saw is that this ad is bringing more new people. This is also bringing new people, but this ad is bringing more experienced people because hooks in those videos were pointed in the different angle, right? So those two were pointed in the new people just starting out with this solution, and this ad was focused on the people who already are in this business. And what it means that this ad, even though it was bringing less people, it was bringing more qualified leads. And this is literally this spreadsheet, right? So this is really fresh campaign. And as you can see, this is the ad spend, right? So 30, 30, 30, so $90 right here. And as you can see, we already have, after 5 days, right, 6 days, we have the first close. So out of $450, almost 7,000 created. And funny enough, to prove the point, this guy that was closed right here was from this ad. So that means if someone not experienced would see those ads and deactivate this ad, he would probably be missing out on a lot of money. So that basically means, right, that the quality is much more important than quantity. And that's precisely why you need to track all the data. Okay, so let's right now show the importance of data visually so you can actually see it. But before that, let's actually crunch some numbers. So like I said, right, we're gonna cover right now what is a good convo to call ratio, DMs to convos, show up rate, all of that, and how to fix that if that's not working properly. So we're gonna cover cost per profile visit, cost per lead, follow to convo rate, book rate, show up rate, close rate, and then the most important metrics, so cost per call, cash collected, cost per acquisition, and then cash ROAS. So let's begin. Cost per profile visit. So basically everything below 0.5 per profile visit is actually pretty good. But please remember that this is actually not the most important metric, and you shouldn't focus on it too much, because much more important is cost per lead. Now, cost per lead, $2 to $10, and the more B2B your offer, and of course the higher ticket, the more it will be. And cost per lead is of course nothing else than followers. So if this is off, right, and for example you are selling a 2K package and your cost per lead is like $20 or something crazy like that, this is how to improve that. So of course, first of all, you need to look at the profile optimization and ads. 80% of the time is just creating better creatives that resonates more with the target audience, and creating better pin posts and bio, so the first impression is much better. Also, sometimes you can tweak things like thumbnails of the actual posts, or the profile picture is also pretty important here. Now, follower to convo ratio, 20% to 40%, and that's of course this right here. So if this is too low, this is what you do, right? So first of all, of course, you need to look at the lead quality. So just look at their profiles. Are they looking like your ICP? Then of course, I would highly recommend doing more story call to actions, maybe introducing so many chat sequences, better pre-qualification in the ads, right? So we are going back to creating better ad creatives because this is so important, and better personalized openers. So if you remember right here, I told you that if this number is off, the first thing that I would probably look at is just seeing if the first message is actually performing good, and tweaking it and running A/B tests on it. Okay, next up is the book ratio. So 2.5 to 5% from followers is really good. Of course, anything more than that is like incredibly good, but it shouldn't be actually lower than like 2%. So if this is too low, of course, the setting here is the problem, right? So what you can improve is more DM sequences, so more assets, more value upfront, more and better follow-ups. Having pre-recorded voice notes in ManyChat can help a lot, because of course probably one of the biggest reasons is that your setting sounds like it's AI generated. So we need to be more natural. Now, show up rate. So it needs to be more than 80% here. And if the show up rate is off, of course we need to do those things. So the pre-call sequence is where is that? See where is the biggest funnel dropout ratio. Is it before they watch the VSL? Is it after they watch the VSL? Do they click on your emails? All of that is an important data that you need to track here. And if it's too low, of course, you need to improve that, introduce maybe more of it, change the VSLs and other resources, introduce more better testimonials and client interviews, and just have more setter touch points. Now the close rate, anywhere from 20% up is good. So of course, other than like the usual stuff, so just be better at sales, so learning the sales script, learning all the objection handling, all of that, you probably need to pre-qualify the audience more. So it's kind of going back to the setting, it's going back to the pre-call sequences and all of that to improve this metric. And with all of those things right here, you will have those key KPIs that are the most important KPIs in business. So first, of course, is cost per lead, right? So we already covered that. Then something incredibly important is cost per call. And it actually should be cost per call taken, because we don't care about cost per call if we're gonna have like 20% show up rate, which is like ridiculous, right? We want to know how much it costs us to have an actual call that is taken. So this is absolute key. And then something that also Hormozi talks about is call per acquisition. If we know this metric, business is like 10 times easier because we know how much it costs us to make a sale. And of course, if we know that, we can determine the cash ROAS, which is incredibly important because of course the cash collected is what's gonna determine how quickly we can grow the business. And let me show you how that looks in practice. So let's say we have 2 ad creatives and we did spend $400 each. So profile visit, ideally below 80 cents like we said. We get 100 followers from it, so that means that cost per lead is $4, right? So on the lower end. And out of 100 followers, we should get around 20 to 40 conversations. So that's, 20% to 40%. After that, out of those conversations, we should get about 3 to 5 appointments, taking into consideration anywhere from 2.5 to 5% when it comes to followers to appointments. Of course, if we take into consideration like 75% show up rate, then we have 2 to 4 live calls. And that basically means that if we get 25% close rate, we get 1 close. And if that happens, right, we have about like 5x the ROAS, if we assume that the offer is like $2,000. So yeah, that's all for today. I hope it was very valuable to you. And of course, if you want me to personally help you with that and give you those crazy results like here, just drop me a DM on Instagram. Peace.